Good morning, everyone. Since we're all here, let's get started. Has everyone get a copy of the agenda?
Yeah, I got a copy of it.
Yes.
Okay. Firstly, I'd like to thank you all for attending this meeting. Considering the influence of the disease, we decided to hold this meeting online. Thanks for your understanding and cooperation. To begin with, I'd like to quickly go through the minutes of our last meeting, which was held on the 30th of March. On the last meeting, we reached an agreement on the preliminary solution of smart parking application, which requires some new features, including compiling of real-time data collection, estimation of waiting time of charging, parking space reservation, and some humanization design like phonic assistant. After 4 hours of research and development, a blueprint of the product has been completed. And as you can see from the agenda, we're here today to exchange information about the project progress and discuss some problems encountered so far. There are 3 items of the agenda, omitting the opening and the ending parts. First is the system design, and then second for the implementation and deliverables, leaving the budget and after-sales services as the last. Ashley will lead point 1, Margaret then point 2, and Andy the point 3. For each point, we'll hear a report on the project progress, followed by a discussion about the blueprint and some engineering problems. Then you set goals and timeline for the next stage. And there will be about 6 to 7 minutes for each item, and I will take the minutes. Let's make sure that we'll finish by 10 a.m. So the first item on the agenda is the system design. Ashley, could you brief us on that part?
Okay, then now I'll share my screen with you guys. Okay. Okay, my whole part is about system design, and this week I almost finished the whole part of it, but it's actually a quite rough version because I didn't knock down all the details and the interface design. So if you guys have any questions or suggestions, feel free to interrupt me or ask me after I finish. Okay, the whole part of system design is divided into 3 little parts. And the first part is actually quite same as what I've talked in the presentation. I just did some adjustment to make it more fitful for all the technical requirements of our customer team. Like, you can see here, they add some requirements about charging stations and voice control and blah, blah, blah. Okay, the whole part of architecture is actually the same as the content in the presentation. It consists of Internet of Things, network, a web server and database, and mobile application. And the main adjustment is I add a lot of stuff about graphic user interface in the part of mobile application. I add some graphs to illustrate how our application will work and introduce some design principles we may use in the application design to make sure that the custom team can better understand our design. And another adjustment is I add more things about the Internet of Things. I add more stuff about the car locating function because it's the car locating feature. I added more details about it, about the sensors and cameras, how they work, because it's a main requirement of the customer. Then about the second part, it mainly talks about the three main functions of the system: the reservation function, navigation function, and user preference. For each system, for each subsystem, I add some graphs to illustrate how it will really work on the mobile application. Like we have reservation page and map page, and we have GPS. GPS is embedded in the system, and we can use it on the navigation page. And we have this part about user preference because the customer asks us to allow drivers to save the favorite car parks and choice of language. And here comes the last part about it's about the additional functions. It's additional functions to the main functions, like some charging station function and voice control. For the charging station, we allow users to find the. We have our own system to estimate, have estimation of waiting time for each user if they need to use the charging station. We have very accurate functions to determine this, have those formulas. And we also have cameras to determine the space, the location of the charging stations to help the users. And for the voice control function, it's mainly for the convenience and safety of our user. Okay, that's the whole part of the system design. Do you guys have any questions or suggestions on my work?
I have one question about the web server.
Oh, the web server here, right? Central
Yeah,
web
could you
server.
please tell me more about the web server and the database?
You mean I haven't read much about these two parts. I need to add more things of the.
Could you please tell me which kind of web server do you use?
Oh, okay. Okay, I guess I need to add them in the report. Like we used to use race Raspberry Pi. We used this computer before, and now we kind of using the PIC microcontroller. Okay, I think I will add this part to the report, and I will update it to you guys after I finish. Do you have more questions?
As we closely cooperate with Tesla, so I recommend you add one special version about their company.
Oh, I guess you mean we can adjust our application to feed some features in about the Tesla, right? I guess I can add this part this week and update you guys after I finish.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, if you have no more questions I guess this is the end of my part.
If nobody has anything to add, and the next term on today's agenda is the implementation and deliverables. Margaret is going to show us about it.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Can you see my
Yes,
screen
we can
sharing?
see your screen.
Yes.
Okay, let's move to the part 3, implementation and deliverables. First, we can see that there are 4 parts of the implementation and deliverables. At first, we can see there are 3 parts of the implementation and deliverables, which is stages of implementation, testing, versions, and a project stage, and user manual and training. Firstly, let's focus on the testing. Actually, we made some experiments to test work performance. The testing of database is set in a virtual park system, and we also tested our sensors in some car parks in Shenzhen for the detection operation. We found a question about limitation in time delay, and we have drawn the timing analyzer for that to calculate the data processing period. Our system have 19 seconds delay for the whole data processing period, which is reasonable for a parking system. And we optimize the algorithm of our central processing in order to shorten the system delay. Here, let's look up the versions. We have 4 versions from last year to now, which is parking 1.0, parking 2.0, parking 3.0, and parking 3.0 Pro. The version 3.0 Pro is our final versions. We have fixed most of potential bugs about our system, and we are still making effort to make our application operate better. Here is our project stage and personnel involved. The complicated stage is information search, and we we have presentations and a preliminary design. In April, we have finished them already, and we are still making our system modulation and budget adjustment nowadays. In the future, we are going to finish the system installation and staff training and launch in this year after this meeting. Finally, a 2-week training will scheduled in parking lot for parking lot staff to ensure the use of our product, which is really important for the staff to get used to operate our product. The training will based on English and Cantonese, and if our staff have some inquiries for us, we will offer our best for them to help them understand. Do you guys have any questions for my part?
Yeah, I have a small question about the testing. Because I noticed the testing part is relatively simple. So I wonder, can we actually assess the data accuracy and consistency of our application from the testing result?
Okay, from the data, the information delay from our time pass is less than 20 seconds, which is in a reasonable and appropriate range. It seems that our data accuracy and consistency are are also good for this system, and however, we are still trying to optimize our algorithm to reduce the delay.
Okay, then you can update the improvement later, right?
Sure.
Okay.
From the diagram of the timing analysis, how is the time pass for works and what is its function?
The time pass for it presents the path that the database store and update the data for backups. It will cause a 3.2 second time delay each time, which is a short duration because it doesn't need to have a logic operation during the transferred process.
Okay, if nobody has anything else to add, let's move on to the next item. And I'd like to hand it over to Andy to lead the next point.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, very clearly.
Uh, uh, in my part, I would like to talk about budget expenditure. In this part of the blueprint, the total budget expenditure of our company will be introduced in detail. According to our budget, we roughly divided the budget expenditure into labor costs, product costs, and after-sales service three categories. Among them, labor costs consists of training fee and technical personnel requirement fee, and product costs consists of hardware fee, software fee, and tech support fee. Also, after-sales service consists of warranty fee, system maintenance fee, and user manual. The total budget for this product is 1 million to 2.5 million Hong Kong dollars. We have made a detailed contention table listing detailed price for all categories in the product. We can see this detailed in table 4.1. And here's I list some quantity of each items. I guess the total fee is about 1.5 million. The cost detail of several items are described in the following session. First, the survey computer. The survey computer is one of the most important hardware in this project, since a survey computer is a kind of high-performance computer. As the node of network storage processing on the network, 80% of data information. So as known as the soul of the network, which means our database server and application server are dependent on it mainly. The main cost of our project is on the server computer, and here's three types of those computer. Combine our actual needs with our professional situation. We think the type 2 is reasonable and acceptable. Next, about the sensors. In order to detect whether the parking space is occupied by vehicles, we need an infrared sensor. In addition, in order to provide the user with the current temperature and time in software, we need a temperature and a light sensor. Finally, because we need to show the exact location of the parking space, we also need a signal sensor to help the GPS provide their location to users. Since the price of each sensor is not very high, the cost is expected to be between 30,000 to 50,000. About the firewall enhancement, because our project needs a database to access the personal data of users. Using our mobile software, we need to strengthen a firewall to prevent malicious theft of our users' personal data. Therefore, to minimize the negative influence on our original system, we will assign our most experienced team to complete this task. The examination cost is around 30,000 and the enhancement cost is 70,000 and the requirement fee. In the project, we need a lot of consultants who understand software design and are proficient in hardware principles. So we need to hire some talents in this field to make our product design more professional. Therefore, we estimate that we need to hire four consultants, and the budget is around 60,000. Also, I would like to talk about the after-sales service about our project. First is the pre-use training and user manuals. After purchase of our products, we will provide week of personal training, clearly introduce the methods of using the product and the variety of operating methods of the products so that businesses quickly master the skills to use. At the same time, we will provide the use manual, which will have detailed use methods and applications. The following content will be included in both the training sigma and the user manuals.
Sorry to interrupt, but the time is limited, so I'd like you to maybe briefly introduce it and let us just look through the tables.
Okay, so in the warranty service part, I just quickly shows the tables about the items in table 5.2. And in this project, we also provide extended warranty program. You can see that if them choose a 2-year warranty, there are more economic by them. So this is, and do you guys have some recommend or questions about my part?
Could you please move to the table 4.1?
Okay.
The product cost consists of hardware fee, software fee, and tech support fee, right?
Oh, yes.
We'd like to know what is the difference of the software fee and the tech support fee. What is the difference?
Okay, the cost of the software is the cost of making the software, and the technology cost is the cost of the technology that we might use to make the software. For example, what technology does our database system use to make it more efficient, and how much overhead do we need on this technology?
I have a little suggestion about the budget, like the lines after this line start with is approximately this line. The total budget for the product is about upper can't move it upper. Yeah, here, right. The budget is about 1 million to 2.5 million. I guess this difference is a little bit, the gap is a little bit too big.
Okay.
I mean, it's not so accurate for the customer. I guess you can make it more accurate, like to specify the details of the budget. So you can make the interval shorter, like 1 million to 1.5 million or something.
Okay. Thank you recommendation. I will change the budget, the total budget of it. Thank you.
Okay. As Ashley just mentioned, it should improve the accuracy of the status of the statistics in your part, Andy, and hope you will work on it in the following weeks. And before we end today's meeting, let me just summarize the main points we mentioned. For the system design, the system architecture takes use of the IoT wireless sensing network, central web server, and cloud-based databases. The mobile application provides multiple functions and a roughly design of GUI. And for the implementation and deliverables, we have made many tests and provide many different versions to fit user needs better. And we also have made the user's menu and training plan that is good. And for the budget, we studied three types and finally choose the one that is the most suitable for our project. And what is more, we also plan to provide some after-sales services and in many aspects. And is there any other businesses?
I guess no.
Right. It looks like we have covered all the items. And can we set the date for the next meeting, please? Maybe let's meet on next Sunday, the 9th of May, at the same place. Is it convenient for you?
At what time?
At the same time, it's the 9 a.m. in the morning.
It's a little bit too early. Can you put it
Okay.
to the afternoon?
Is that convenient for you all, guys? Maybe 2 p.m. in the afternoon?
Oh, it's okay for me.
I'm also available.
It's okay for me too.
Okay. The meeting is finished now. Look forward to seeing you the next Sunday. And thanks again for your participation and all your hard work.
Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.